Hi, welcome back to another episode of Spit or Swallow. Thank you for the likes, for the shares, for subscribing, for following, for the comments, everything. Today is a very special day as per usual. And with me, I have a very special guest, Valerie Ike.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm a very special guest.
Hi, Hi, Valerie. Welcome to the podcast. You want to
Thank you for
introduce yourself?
having me. I'm very excited, first of all. But my name is Valerie. I'm a TV presenter. I have my own podcast. I'm half of one other podcast. I a content creator, and sometimes I make candles.
Oh, I've been trying to attend a candle class for a million years, but we
You
just
haven't
never.
gotten
Yeah,
around to it.
we just keep missing schedules. Like some of them even have my credits for me to, you
Just
know.
reschedule.
Yeah, exactly. But I
Um,
love
I think
candles.
I think you should like whenever you get around to it, you most likely enjoy it.
Definitely,
I
I'm
think
I'm a
it's when I
candle
started
lover.
making them, it was sort of therapeutic for me, and I was just doing it for myself.
Mm.
And then people encouraged me to start into a business, and like the first pop up I ever did, the first and only pop up I ever did, I sold
Sold
out all
out,
the candles.
but you just haven't had the energy.
Yeah,
Let's see how it goes when I attend the
let's
class.
see
Maybe
how
we'll
it
give
goes.
them.
Yeah, maybe you ginger me.
Do you understand? To release Hausa Chocolate times Valerie UK.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's run it.
Today we're talking about sexual communication, but before we get into it, spit or swallow.
Um, I think I'd say
Why are you
it
scratching your neck?
depends. I'd say no. I was going. I had an answer, but I was going to say it depends.
Depends on what.
I'd say swallow.
Fair. Most people who have come here have been like, it depends on the taste, it
It
depends
depends on
on
the
his
person.
diet,
It depends on his
the
diet. Yeah, like it
mood.
just depends on like if like yeah. But then the thing about the reason why I did just say swallow is because like I just if I wasn't sure of the person, I wouldn't have let them even in the first
In
place.
fair
So
enough,
like I
makes
feel like
sense, makes
yeah.
sense. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about sexual. We're gonna be talking about. We used to
This
be
is worse
somebody.
than my podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think my own is bad.
Now, welcome to the Lions Den. Oh. Welcome to the Lions
I just
Den.
honestly became cold and scared.
Scared. Please, oh, we're
I'm
talking.
joking, I'm
Yeah,
joking, I'm
we're
joking.
going a little deep today because every time. So I always have this segment at the end where it's like tip of the week, and one recurring tip is always communicate, communicate, communicate
Hmm.
with anything that has to do with sex and having better sex or good sex or just not even just having good sex, but avoiding people being trigger warning like abused, assaulted, just to avoid
Yeah,
stories that touch.
yeah.
It's good to communicate, and
Communicate.
so that's what
Hmm.
we're talking about today. I first want to start with the concept of can I kiss you and asking for consent verbally. A lot of people seem to disagree that even babes will tell you, wow, you ask me, can I kiss you? Just do it. And I'm just like, no. They say it ruins the mood. You should be able to gauge or read body language. Or
Hmm.
if you ask me, then it's just weird. And I totally disagree with that. I understand that yes, sometimes vibes or
Yeah,
you can tell when somebody, even the baby would have
yeah,
leaned into you and all
yeah.
of that. But I think if you have that, if you even accept, I had a long argument with somebody who's like deep in his mental health bag, but he said he's never gonna ask, and he said his reason is she might say no,
Okay.
and these are part of the reasons why people don't communicate during sex because they rather do and then work around whatever response than ask and give the person time to think,
Yeah.
because a lot of times people feel like babes are already generally overthinking sex, so you
Hmm.
just have to catch it while it's hot, and I just think that that's kind of abusive.
I feel like that's very predatory.
It is.
I don't think so. I think when I was younger, I would have definitely said that like asking me if you can kiss me would sort of ruin the mood. But the older that I've gotten, I've realized that even if I don't see how you asking me if you can kiss me would ruin the mood, especially if we're on that wavelength and like there is that vibe going on. I
Mm.
think there is. I don't think it would probably even turn me on even more. I
Mm-hmm,
think because
mm-hmm.
I feel like it's like you're not thinking that. Like even if I wanted, like it's just the consent of it. Like it's the
Exactly,
consent for me,
exactly. Mm-hmm.
and I think that even as I've grown older with sex, I found that communicating during sex
Mm-hmm.
is another form, another level of intimacy,
Intimacy. Mm-hmm.
but then it also just makes it more fun. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to explore like parts of your partner, and like I think it just also kind of makes you more comfortable in whatever situation that you're in, and then you're thinking less about every other thing else as opposed to just like enjoying the experience of being with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you I can't like how I used to have sex before and now I feel like there's definitely a difference, and I definitely enjoy it more because I'm very verbal
Expressive.
about what I
Mm-hmm.
want, and like like is if like it's a thing that we're both supposed to enjoy. So
Yeah.
like you can tell me what you want and I can tell you what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I definitely agree as well because um first thing, even me, my own journey into being, I'm generally an expressive person. I always say like
Mm-hmm.
my throat chakra is always open, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed
Throat
that,
chakra. That sounds like
yes.
someone else.
Please, oh, that one is not. I recently found out that I'm not a deep throater. Oh, please, oh, let's,
Really? Have you
like,
tried this like folding your thumb thing?
I actually have a very great gag reflex.
Do you have a tongue scraper?
Yeah, I do.
So I feel like my tongue scraper helped my gag reflex.
So, except I use it without toothpaste makes me throw up. That's also
Okay.
another thing.
So
But,
use it without. So what I do is like when I finish brushing my teeth, like with the toothpaste in my
mhm.
mouth, I just literally scrape from back to front.
So
And
if it's scraping, if it's I can do that, but to deep throating has levels. I've come to realize that people think
my
people think
sister,
deep
that is
throating has
true.
levels. It's not just it reached the back of your mouth. It's a lie. People are putting this shit in their windpipe. Oh. It's going inside the esophagus. That is when I realized. No, one day I was really doing. We were really doing exercise. I was just like,
Not the
this is
esophagus.
actually where I'm telling you, I'm like, this is actually where this thing is stopping. I'm not swallowing anything. No. I'm
Mm,
actually not yet. Like
yeah,
sometimes during the act, you relax and stuff. But the way people
yeah.
just like if you just nudge it, like what's that thing called? The uvula, that dangly
Yeah,
thing inside
yeah.
there.
Mhm.
If you just nick it like this, I'm like, oh, that's me. Oh.
Really?
Straight.
No. It takes a lot for
So
me.
all you
It takes
thrust
a lot
goats
for
out
me
there,
to.
it's not. Mm-mm.
But random, I'm veering off the topic a little bit. Have you ever thrown up where you on someone's dick
No,
where
no,
you're
no, no.
sucking
So
a
I
dick before?
haven't actually gagged during that. It was just me trying to push it in and see how deep it could go. Because I thought in my head I was taking this entire
Oh,
thing, but I
I
really
have.
wasn't. You've puked.
I threw up
What
on
was
his
it,
dick.
Egusi?
Yeah. No, it wasn't a good see. We had been out, so it was just like alcohol.
Alcohol.
But like, yeah, I did.
And how did you guys commence after that?
We laughed. Yeah,
That's actually why. I
it
mean, to
was
be honest,
funny.
you
It
clean
was
up and continue,
funny.
Sha.
It was
Yeah.
funny because it was his fault that it
Mm.
happened.
What was he holding your?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, and I'd be like, and yeah. So yeah, that was funny.
I mean, he
So
got he got
immediately it
what he was looking
happened. We
for.
just started laughing.
I can actually imagine that happening.
Like after I called my friend, I was like, I just threw us.
I actually know quite a number of people that have, and I always
It
ask, please,
happened.
what came out? What did you eat?
We was alcohol. Mine was out. Mine
I mean,
luckily
fair
it
enough,
was
Shy. I mean,
alcohol.
some people use that as lube and continue, but
That is disgusting. Like we took a breather, smoked a joint. I went to go and completely throw up, and then like
and then you
we,
continued.
yeah,
Did you go back to the dick? Like, did you go and give head again?
yeah. He showered. He like,
No, I mean,
did I what?
did you go back and put your throat on this and stuff?
Did I go back to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair, fair.
I mean, like time has passed now.
The throat has relaxed.
I actually fucking hate you.
Fair enough. Back to the topic,
Mhm.
communication. So, and asking, I think that another thing is there's this study that shows that more people in non-monogamous or partner relationship communicates about sex than actual like married couples or people
Yes.
that are together.
Yeah.
And this just brings me to the reason why people struggle with communicating during sex. So there is the aspect of shame. That's like the number one
Yeah,
thing.
for sure.
The shame, the stigma when it comes to like talking about sex. Some people don't
Hmm.
want to be labeled hoes. You know, a lot of women, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. A lot of women don't say what they like because the classic, where did this one land that one? If she was asking for inner or more, she has been around the block and they
Yeah.
want to be wife. So you have people who actually
Yeah.
suffer because
Hmm.
some people are just shy. Some just feel judged, even men and women, because Madonna Hall complex. I've had an episode
Yeah.
about that as well.
Hmm.
The man doesn't want to broach that topic or say, oh, I would actually prefer to hit you from the back or slap you or something. And, they don't want to
He's
feel
shy. He doesn't want
judged.
to feel a
They're
certain
ashamed.
way. And
Some
I feel
people
like
is,
even sorry to cut you,
yeah,
off, but I feel like a lot of times, even in our community, you find that there are men that would say, "Oh, they don't want to do so and so things to their wives because that's their wife."
yeah,
But
she's
then they have
pure.
women that they're doing that too, and then their wife wants it, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not getting it, and then you're
Exactly.
doing it too.
No, I actually
Yeah.
find Madonna Hall complex to be so insane because it's like, oh yeah, that's wifey, she's pure. I reserve the romantic love and all the cuteness for her, and I just can't do that. But you can come on somebody else's daughter's face because she's not your wife. You don't want to see
Yeah, I
your
think
wife
that's
in
a
that
bit
way.
weird.
It is. I don't know why are men wired like that because. I always say, like, yes, I'm very pro casual sex and being in the streets, but even with your casual partner, sex gets better with time with one person because
Of
you can
course.
explore more, you know each
Yeah.
other's bodies better, you can do.
I think when people think casual sex, they just think like wham bam, thank you, ma'am, disrespect, like just act anyhow and just like act badly. And I think like I had an episode, sorry, we had an episode, Tamara and I did an episode with the Menizens guys, and we're talking
Mhm,
about how like I feel like men need to be assertive about what they want from women.
mhm.
And like immediately they were like, oh yeah, so we should just say, oh hi, I want to fuck. And I'm like, no, like don't be daft. Like because I say you should be assertive doesn't mean
Doesn't
you
mean you
should
should
be,
be rude,
you get like
yeah.
you should be able to
Be
express
clear about
express
your
yourself. You're first of
intentions,
all you're a
yeah.
grown adult,
Mhm,
and I feel like because it doesn't have rejection doesn't happen as often as men think to women. They think that
mhm,
rejection doesn't happen to women,
mhm.
but I think that every grown adult should be able to accept rejection and keep it moving
Exactly.
without things getting awkward.
Mhm,
So why can't you just communicate how you feel? You tell me, "Hi Valerie, I think you're cute. I want to fuck you. I don't want to fuck you." Like I should be able to tell you that, and we can
mhm,
move on without it
mhm,
becoming an
mhm.
issue. I think is where that people don't like when you say communicate is either that it has to be rude or it has to be like
Yeah,
there's
always like, oh, I met you, please give me your
yeah,
pants. Like, it's like,
yeah. But like
relax.
just talk to me, literally. And like when I talk back at you and I say something to you and like even if it's something you don't like, then like take it like that.
So I feel like what you said is right. Where anytime you tell men that you can be direct and say that you want sex, they just think, oh, but if we say we want to have sex with you now, you'll be taking it personal. And it's like you don't just have to enter and just be like, hi. Da, da, da. And even with that, sometimes you know how there's this joke that they say flirting versus harassment. It depends on who's saying
It,
it.
exactly.
To be honest, there's some people like, hi, also, yes, me too. I agree. But there's some people that you definitely have to butter me up a bit. But buttering me up doesn't mean lying to me that I want a relationship. It's like
Yes.
even if you
I
hang
think be
once, let's
polite,
yeah,
you know. I think be
exactly.
thoughtful. It's kind of like if you're talking to someone, even if you guys are just fucking, if you're going to their house, you can buy them lunch. You can
Bruh,
buy them a
I've
bottle
had
of
see
wine. You
the
can do
the
stuff.
the episode about
It's not a big
situationships.
deal.
I'm like, why don't men understand that even in a casual relationship, you should have a duty of care towards the person that you're
Ah,
fucking sleeping with.
like
All of a sudden, they think, oh, because I bought her a birthday present, she thinks that she wants.
no, nobody thinks
Nobody said. Do
that.
you
And like
understand?
half the
You
time, I
can be
think
decent,
men don't
yeah.
even do that because they think that you mean that. Like because you are in my house and I'm literally buying you lunch or like I would like God like what does that mean that I'm trying to do anything other than like have like a like do you
Do
understand?
you understand? You can actually have a friendship. You can actually relationships are literally all about agreements, right? It's like
Yeah.
we can actually have a nice, intense, casual relationship, but both of us know it's not. We're not trying to get it anywhere. And even if your feelings change, that's why you communicate. And one person can be like, "Omo, that's not what I want." Nobody is going to die, but I
Do
think
you
they just
get
don't want to have any difficult conversation. So it's like, let me fight my feelings. Let me be
no for sure.
evasive.
I
Let me
think
be
men are definitely cowards when it comes to ending relationships.
definitely. Oh, for sure, for
And that's
sure.
why there are lots of stories that like I'm sure I have a story, you have a story, you have a story of a man stringing you along. He didn't have any intentions of doing anything with you. He just wanted you to be there, just should in case one thing or two things should occur. Like
Fine. When
you
it
will
comes
just
to
be there.
niggas having
And
options and keeping people in their
yeah,
basket like this,
and what I don't I do you know I admire it, and it's sort of something that like I've now gone on to model my life like like after, because it's like men will always have options. Like you'll be there killing yourself over this one man that is talking to. He's even talking to your friend. I'm
Facts.
telling you, you turn around, you go to the toilet and come back to the club. Your friend will tell you, you know that this your friend just asked me for my number. They happen every single night in Lagos.
And
It happens.
I'm screaming. And I think that is
Like,
because half of it is like I always say I pray to God for the audacity of men. I think that and the selfishness. I think part of it is also in them thinking that they're the ones that have to choose. They have to choose you. They have to choose the
yeah.
wife. So it's like, oh, since I'm going to choose, I might as well choose the best one and have limited
Mm-hmm.
options. Then
Mm-hmm.
satisfy my green and long throats when
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not really monogamous, but I'm going to have all of these ones and say, okay, I actually like this one the most, but she doesn't want to marry, so I'm not going to release her. I'll just hide her there. Take then
Yes.
there's like
I'll
this is the one
marry
that
this
my
one.
mother, yes, I'll
Then
marry
this
this
one that
one.
doesn't want to marry will still
Yeah,
be
we'll
doing,
still
she
be
can have a
doing
child for me,
things,
you
you
know.
know,
She'll
and
be at the
stuff.
wedding.
Do you
I will
get? I
collect
mean,
room for her beside my
as some
wife's room.
babes, I mean, I guess it's really relative because some babes are happy with that deal of like, ah, I'm not inside the house and I'm collecting all the money and all the perks and stuff. Me, I
Yeah,
don't
but
have
just
the
communicate.
yeah.
Let me just know that that's what I'm
Do you
doing. Don't be
understand? I feel
whining
like
me.
exactly. It's like just say what it is that you want
Yeah.
or your plans. Don't be put. I think for me, out of anything, I hate one being lied to and just being blindsided with information. Like it's like when someone says, "Oh, do you know your man is da 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 da?" It's like if I knew where he was, it wouldn't be annoying as to one stranger comes to say, "Oh, this person,
Yes.
you know, he was here with this. Why didn't you tell me
Yes.
this was what you're going or this is what
Yes.
you want?" Like
Yes.
people also like open relationships, but no, men just think they have women figured out, and it's like no, this. Is, but I think a lot of them are just lying and hiding on them,
Mm-hmm.
not
I
wanting to
think
have
I
difficult
think open
conversations.
relationships are even a lot harder than people. When people say, "Oh, they want open relationships," open relationships are hard as
Because
fuck.
it's two times the communication and the
Ah,
trust
two
has to be
times.
extra. The trust
Hey,
has
my
to be
dear,
extra.
that shit is intense, and even feel like it's a lot of work. And if men did realize how much of a work open relationships were, they won't ask for it as often as they
Do they
do.
even ask? I feel like that's why a lot of them just be
They just
cheating.
open. They just silently open their own
Exactly.
side.
Or they will just never close what you have. Do you understand? I feel like that's their
Girl,
own way of navigating like open relationships. And this is what
yeah,
we say about sexual communication because this is part of it.
yeah,
Opening your sexual um
yeah.
relationships as
Mm-hmm.
well. You know, that's something I was gonna talk about. Yeah, so I'm thinking about even my own journey with communicating during, after, before. Now it's even worse. I'm just so well, okay, I try to be sensitive, you know, because I feel like based on always forming experts and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes my I can't
Approach
communicate.
can be
Yeah, eh,
aggressive.
I wouldn't even say aggressive, but like I can intellectualize or case study the sex. Do you understand? Where it's like, okay, if I was a therapist and I just finished liking somebody, I want to be like,
Please don't
I want to
do
be giving
that.
you feedback for.
Don't
So
do
there was one time
that.
when email and okay, so
But that'll be funny.
a tiny thing that I
That'll be
do, a
funny.
tiny thing that I do, I think if it's nice, I always high five. I'm like, high five, that was really good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be dapping them up and stuff. But there was one time where it was first time I was about to be like, "Da-da-da-da." I just said, actually, the
Let me just
tranquilo,
not.
tranquilo,
Yeah. Not tranquilo.
tranquilo. I was like, tranquilo, down, girl, now just leave him before I'm gonna shut her self esteem. I beg, just
Yeah.
let it
I feel
simmer.
like there's some people that are not, or there are people that are not generally receptive of criticism,
Mm-hmm.
especially during sex.
That's why I be ghosting
But I
niggas.
feel like for those that don't know, 9 times out of 10, if you have to ask the woman if she's enjoying it, she's probably not. Like, because if she was,
You
you'd
see it, you
know.
hear it, you
You
see the
see it,
goosebumps.
you
You
hear,
she
she will
will
feel it,
exactly she will
it
touch
will
you
it will
in certain
fill the
ways.
room.
I definitely agree, but
So
I
I mean,
also
yeah. I feel like you should ask more like,
are you
do you want it
okay?
fast? Do you want it slow? Like there's so many ways
But it's
to.
also good to ask what they like because you know how a
Yeah.
lot of people come with that script of okay, kiss, touch breast, suck breast, finger, then head, then penetrate and stuff.
Mm,
And it might work for some people, but I feel like everybody is different. You don't know the tempos they like, you don't know the pressure they like, you don't know who
yes.
likes biting, you don't know who like so there are
Yeah.
certain things where you shouldn't really be forward to do stuff. Because like me now, I always say, yeah, slap me, choke me. It's not everybody that you don't if you slap me, I will slap you back if you're not the nigga that I've endorsed to be slapping, it's not every so
Yeah.
you literally have to be hitting a certain kind of like
Excuse me.
you have to unlock a certain level of like my nastiness or just like I must be
Yeah, I have to
enjoying
be
it. Yeah.
comfortable
I
to
have to
with
be like
you to an
enjoying it. You get
extent.
it's like
Yeah.
it's when I'm even trying to be like, let me let me see if this one is coming back. You now slap me for what have you done? You know, as in, have you performed enough to slap me? Are you crazy?
You know,
You know.
there's nothing worse than someone like overestimating the
Mm-hmm.
importance in your sex life, to be honest, because
Exactly.
you can be like,
From where to where.
it's possible you don't see that person ever again because of
Yeah.
that movement.
I do be ghosting, I've said it
I
before
mean, yeah,
on my
like
leader, but there are many people that they entered once and never returned. They never came back.
definitely. I
I
think
don't.
I said it on my podcast where I said I sometimes I feel like Drake writes lyrics for me, even though
Mm.
like he's extremely toxic, but I resonated with him saying just need to know what that pussy's like, so one time is fine with me. Like it's
I'm screaming.
like
I mean, I don't think
some
I've
things are just for experience, some
mm,
things are just for like,
in the
vibes.
moment, yeah.
Also like if you were for vibes and like don't get mad, like this the game is the game. Me too, I wanted somebody for more than vibes and
I'm
they
screaming.
chose me for
Not you promoting toxicity.
I
So I've decided that this year
I'm not promoting
I'm gonna be
toxicity.
I'm gonna be,
I'm
but
pro
we're
choice
talking
in
about
every sense of
I'm
the
dead. We're talking
word.
about communication. Our communication is also in termination. It's not just do this, do this, do
Come
this.
on,
Sometimes
communication is
it's not
in
as
termination.
come on. It should be like, yeah, this is the reason why you didn't come back. I feel like some have
Yes.
gotten the message, because there was one. I think I've generally been lucky where I've never really been like, this was bad. It's like maybe only one. And even the badness, like for me, bad is like it was too short. But it's not necessarily, yeah. It's
You
not
mean luck
necessarily,
you?
yeah, so it's not necessarily that bad, like being short is because some women like short sex. Me, 24 hours, we let's be there. Like I'll go and go and go.
Um
But yeah, I just feel like I've just generally there was only one where but he already told me that. He was like, I can't do this and do this, but I can give you the best missionary I've ever had in your life. Best believe it was the worst. It was the worst. I was like, I was holding my breath because I wanted to laugh because I was like, what is happening? And he was saying, teach me, teach me. I'm like, look, my teaching days I don't think I was ever a teacher. So I won't even say they're over. I don't just have that time in life to be. I'm too no.
I don't
I
know
like
how
enjoyment
to
too much
explain it, but
to
there's
be
just
teaching.
something about like being with someone that's the first time I ever had an orgasm.
Hmm.
Um, it was the third person that I'd ever had sex with, and well, consensually actually, but then like it
Oops.
was the
I mean,
third
if it's
person ever.
non-consensual, then it's not
Yeah,
sex. But I feel you.
So I'm like, I didn't understand what was
What's happening?
happening to
Hmm.
me. And if I now went on to I was like sort of like a crackhead, like in chase of that. And I feel like now that I'm older, there's some pointers, some cues from the person that I'm talking to that when from talking to them, I can tell that whether I'm going to enjoy having sex with them or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what? Oh, you don't want to say so that niggas not start
I don't know. I'm not
acting
going to
it out.
say it. I'm not going
They'll
to
just be like,
say
Valerie said when I do my
when
finger like this.
I swear. I don't think it's more. I don't think it's more of what. I don't think it's
Is
more
it
of
like an
specific actions, but I
aura?
just
Is
think
it
that there's just a certain vibe.
mm,
There it's like two different things. I'm not saying if I'm going to have sex with you. I'm saying if I'm going to
enjoy
enjoy
it?
it.
So I think that for
Like I can
me,
tell,
because I'm a
and I've
penetration
never been
guy,
wrong.
I always say it is I have post first thrust clarity. The making out can be fine, the vibes can be fine,
Yeah.
but the way the strokes hits, you can never know until you experience it. That's in my own opinion, Sha.
See, I agree. I found that if there's even if like we got into the stage of where like we're in foreplay, if
Hmm.
something was off about the foreplay,
Yeah, you
I
already
would
know
already
that.
know.
Know that, yeah.
Like I can just tell. So like it keeps my expectation at like just um some point.
If I'm not already attracted to you, I'm not already feeling that, you know,
Are you big on
Bluetooth
physical
connection.
touch?
Yes,
Okay,
but depending on who.
obviously.
Yeah, like it's not I wouldn't even say it's my love language, to be honest. Like I
Mhm.
like physical touch, but I have to like really, really like you. There's some people
Mhm.
that are really touchy, they always want to be around you or be on you. And I think it's just when I really like you that I become like a cat. I can be two extremes.
Okay.
If I don't like you like that, I also notice that if I don't like you like that, I'm also selfish during sex. Like you just be doing, I'll just be there, my hand is on.
Yeah,
I'll do what I'm yeah, I'm not
I agree.
yeah, I'm not,
If I don't fuck with you like that, I'm very, very selfish during sex as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
extremely. I used to date someone before that like was convinced that I hated sucking dick.
I was just about to say that.
Like
Dick
he
is for
was
special, sucking dick is for
convinced.
special people. It's not
Like
for
he
everybody.
like there was one like he even wanted to like
Okay,
do
let
like
me not
a
say that, Sha, because that's how niggas
be
start
thinking that they're
holding head.
special.
No, niggas start holding head for the babes. Head is for
I
everybody.
I feel like well anyway.
Make me not go shoot ourselves in the foot.
I'm telling
Because
you.
women are already suffering in this pandemic of holding head. So head is for
Yeah.
everybody.
No, but like
TM.
I just saw something in the media. I did just even suck his dick, and I
Yeah,
was right
no.
not to because it's an
I
idiot.
think me, I find sucking dick more personal than
I
penetration.
think it's intimate.
Yeah, it's very like what's going on there? Just be swallowing
It
anything
is
anyhow.
intimate because
Yeah.
like there's nothing worse than sucking dick that is like musty.
Mm.
Like I, you know, like what, like
But when you're in love with
when I
somebody,
was
that
younger.
mustiness is like cocaine, I mean.
Sis, please,
That
please,
shit to get you
please, they
high.
take me to rehab, please. Like
Oh
no,
my
no, no, no,
god.
no. I mean, I like musty. That's why communication is
Yeah, I mean
important.
maybe not musty,
Babes,
but like
maybe we
I want
should
this
go in the shower.
seasoned. No, I've never been someone that smells. A smell is just not for me. So like, but you mean you know how it's like he's had a long day at work.
Then
His
I shouldn't
organ
suck. I
stressed
shouldn't suck a
him.
dick.
No,
Yeah,
that
you
one is
should just
still
have a
nice.
quickie that doesn't involve.
No, no, no. I think well, if the person is not generally smelling, because I don't think I've ever smelled like
No, I
smelling,
mean like
smelling.
not like
I
not,
understand that must maybe. So, what do you prefer, like freshly showered?
not freshly. Not, you don't have to be freshly showered. I mean, like you know, I wouldn't even recommend anyone is like would eat pussy like when it's freshly showered because like
Yeah,
eating
it's not
pussy is in the
seasoned.
flavor from the
Mhm.
see you know the
Mhm.
day the seasonings of the day. You
Mhm.
get me?
Exactly. So I
But
think
like
even with dick, like,
there's
haven't you ever
just
put the balls on your nose, just sniff it like?
I haven't done that. But I feel like a part of me is going to try.
Yes, sometimes you just gotta
Just
inhale
for
the essence
fantastic.
of the thing. But like I said, maybe I've also not been scarred, because they be saying
You
niggas don't be
definitely
washing
haven't
their
been
boxers
sad.
and
Nigga, let me watch.
all that
Let's not
stuff.
even get into
Coming tasting
that. I
salty when
beg.
it's.
But let's not get into dirty people. Oh, please.
Hmm. Speaking of debt, it's I say this one now, it's gonna be really casty. It's
What?
gonna be really casty. I was just thinking about just hygiene and sex, like in general, and how
Mm-hmm.
I'm just lucky that well, a lot of it's more if I calculate the times I've had sex, a lot of it has been in my my apartments, my house. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
there's more comfort there, and it's
Mm-hmm.
always clean, obviously. And I'm lucky with most of the men that they have fresh sheets and stuff. But I was just thinking about situations where I've had to lay my head on less than sanitary sheets, and that's why I'm always dragging niggas about please change your bed sheet. Like don't be using
You
one
know,
for yeah. Those are terms of or like
um,
bathrooms and so those are reasons why there's some people's like that pillow you made me lay my head is the reason why I never came back. It was like it wasn't good though, but
see,
I just
do you know
cannot
a
be.
while ago,
Mm-mm.
I started talking to someone,
Yeah.
and like he had tried to talk to me, but I did not agree. So it turns out that on one night out, we had like mutual friends. So like he just rode on that like mutual friends wave and like was like trying to talk to me. Okay, for him, the mutual friend was someone that at the time I respected. So it was like I was just like hanging out, you know. Anyway, we hung out a few times. The first time we hung out, he came to my house, and then the second time we hung out, I went to him, right? And like so the third time we hung out, right? I went to him as well, but it was in a different room in the house. And then I found out that he was like living with his cousin or something.
Mm,
Anyway, long story short, that day after I got up to go and pee and like I couldn't pee
mm.
in toilets. Like I
It was
got
that
up to go
nasty.
and pee and like like because in my
Hair.
house I don't wear slippers in my house. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have house slippers. But like when visitors come, like I tell them that they can walk bare feet. That's how my
Yeah.
house is. Because it's
Mm,
actually clean.
yeah.
Mm?
Mm.
Like I couldn't like so I just walked into the bathroom like bare feet, thinking like
Yeah, at
first of
home.
all, that was the worst decision I ever made in my life. Like it was his bathroom was so disgusting. I don't even know how to explain it. Like It was absolutely disgusting. And not to talk, that thing you said about the sheets, the questionable sheets.
Mm-hmm.
There's that too.
And the towel.
And then
Hey,
there was literally there was no tissue. There
I'm
was
dead.
no towel, so I
Mm-hmm.
actually
There
couldn't
was no
pee.
towel. I'm dead.
So what I did was I wore my clothes and I went home and I blocked him.
Fair enough. Fair enough because
I had to.
fair enough,
I
and
I
that's why I appreciate
and I
my
blocked him
men.
because I know we're talking about communicating, but I feel like that was a very clear communication.
I always say disclaimer when I talk about my preferences because they feel like, oh, because Halima is saying this, that's a gold standard. Just
No, I
because I
don't think
said
so.
I like aggressive or I like penetration or I like
I don't
slapping,
think so.
yeah, everyone's you need to know what you like. And
Yeah.
there's certain times when you're having sex with your partner, and some should be exploratory, where it's like, okay, yes, today we're
Yes.
just going
Let's
to,
try
yeah,
this
let's
new
try this, let's
thing.
try this, let's bring ice, let's
I
do this.
agree.
It's not, you shouldn't be having destination focused sex all the time. Like, oh, I just want to orgasm. It's like, okay, let me see, let's bring in toys today, let me see what makes him tick, let's bite, let's do this. And then a lot of the communication should also be done outside of sex. So even
Yes.
things like sexting, even things like,
Yes.
oh,
I
when you
think
did this, yeah,
so.
when you did this, when you did this, when you did, send
Yes.
a text message, I like this. I
I
also
think
prefer when
so.
you do that. And even stuff like, please, could we incorporate more of this? Would you be open to this? So there's this will, wants, and wounds list. I can't remember the psychologist who, but if you Google it, there's a PDF form where some people's variation is like maybe do, don'ts, and maybe, or yes, so sorry, yes, no, maybe. So yes, I'll do. Then there are different things, and you can create your own. You can say, okay, anal, butt play, fire, blood,
Yeah,
this,
for sure.
cuddling after sex, those kind of tiny things. You can,
Do you
if
like cuddling
yeah.
after sex?
um
I'm dying. Are you clearing your throat to answer?
Because sometimes when I just want to blurt out an answer, I'm just like, no, but I was like, you dead, come on, get out of my bed. So it's still relative to who, but also I realize that sex energizes me. I get energy. So sometimes I mean, the habit of once it's done, I don't jump up and I'm just like, so when somebody wants to be simmering in the moment and stuff, it's like, okay, I could do it. It's cool, but you're choking me. I want to press phone. There's sometimes it's like, oh, that was nice. Let me go and check my DMs. You get so it's 50-50. It's very mood dependent.
Then your
Time of
mind kills me. You said, "Oh, that was great, but
yeah,
what's
do you
Twitter
get it's
saying?"
like nice activity. This and that's how I know when I don't really like someone like
Mm-hmm.
that because there's sometimes when it's like once it's over, then the guy is still holding me and I'm just like,
I
okay, so
beg.
when is someone going to go home now? Because
Yeah.
I want to watch Play too.
Yeah.
do you
Everyone
get
just be like, they're
do you
like,
get like don't now? And I think that's why that's why there are certain people that I don't invite because they turned into a whole day activity.
yeah.
And I was just was
You were
it
supposed to
yesterday? So I
be.
was telling somebody that I don't like
Yes.
when niggas
Oh
be forming
my
preamble. Oh, let's eat, let's watch Netflix. Baba, fuck. Come, go home. That's all I need at this moment. There's some days when I'll spend the whole day with you, but I just needed to upload
this
in the
bitch said
moment. Do
preamble.
you understand? It's like sometimes they want to talk or catch up. So how are you? And I think some people just learn that in terms of butchering up. But there are some men who actually like the foreplay. They like
Mm-hmm.
the.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's personality dependent and then if they really like you. But
Yeah.
sometimes I'm just horny. Like I just, you know, if you want to spend 4 hours with me, let the 4 hours be fucking entirely. I
Mm-hmm.
don't need all the extra conversation on your life story. Like shit, there
Mm-hmm.
was one time I was thinking, I was just like, but I don't come for all this bond, when are you gonna off your trousers? And I eventually had to
Yeah.
say, Uncle, remove your
What are
boxers.
you
It's like,
saying?
yeah, like I didn't come for that. There was one other one too. He will come and I enjoy spending time with him, but he will also sleep over. And then, I canceled him because he would now that time I was still 9 to 5 in. He will now sleep over like at least me, I have shame if I sleep in someone's house. Crack
You
of
wake up
dawn. Pa,
early and
I
go.
don't you get
Mm-hmm.
like I have my morning routine,
So he will wait for
I
you to
need to
wake up. I will wait for you to go to work.
bro, like why are we
Why?
living at the same time? You're now delaying me. Do you understand? Like now because you're still sleeping and I'm getting ready, I'll now have to be playing music on my phone. When usually I use the blasting of the music because I'm not a morning person. I use that one to wake myself up. I turn on all the lights. I turn off my AC to force myself out of bed because once temperature changes, I wake up. All those kind of things. I now have to be doing concession because someone that I don't even love is in my bed. Do you get?
Mm-hmm.
So I just know that okay, if I
It's
don't have
annoying.
weekend to give this one, just and
Mm-hmm.
that's why the rotation makes sense because those are the things that make you go up and down. It's like
Yeah.
okay, me and you this one on the same level and when you're done and it's like sometimes you can schedule like okay I'm feeling emotional let's sleep over, let's do this. So it's really just about like being open, talking,
Everything
trying to
just works with communicating. Yeah.
yeah, and then trying to overcome that shyness as well and test the waters. And I think you should also prep yourself for rejection, because rejection is what
Yes.
stops a lot of people from communicating.
Yeah.
You never know if
Yeah.
your babe or your wife likes something wild that you've never heard of before. Do you get? So if they say no, then it's cool, and you guys can find that. But if you have that maybe list, and the thing is, you can always do like reviews and stuff. You should really be intentional about your sex life.
Yeah.
Man, I take it very seriously.
Yeah, you should be.
Do this, do this, do this. Okay, should we try this? Let's try that. And I think everybody will be better
Yeah,
for
I
it.
think so.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think so too, for sure. Okay, actually had an interesting conversation. There's some things that I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch this episode back, because there's some things I don't want to hear back. But
No,
we'll see.
I don't think it's that. I think we kept it PG
PG
18.
adjacent.
Yeah, PG
Okay.
18,
We'll take
and
it. We'll
stuff.
take it. We'll take, I'll take that.
But yeah, my producer was to hook my neck, like, shut up. They've been giving me signals since. Okay, I mean, I feel like we've already kind of done tip of the week, but just
Yeah.
for the sake, tip of the week for sex tip of the week.
Sex tip
Recommunication.
of the week in recommunication.
Yeah.
Try talking. Try dirty talk. Like, try it in communicating. Just try it and see how it goes. It can get awkward. Like when you're trying to get into it, you can say the wrong body part or something. But like, laugh at yourself and like try it. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let me know how that goes for
And you
you.
can piggybacking off of that, you can localize it to your own taste. So you can be like, oh mommy, I want to pound you like this pounded yam that I'm eating. Or you don't always have to be like, oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to suck the
You
black
don't
off
have
your
to
dick type. Yeah,
mills
don't,
and
yeah,
booms it up.
exactly. Don't always mimic. Just do what comes natural to you, and maybe DM me, I may help you. I used to help people reply messages in uni.
I'm screwed. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, But yeah, thank you so much, Valerie, for
I'm
coming
glad.
here. And thank you
I'm
for
glad I
being
came.
on the podcast. I'll definitely bring
I'm
you
glad
back
I
another
came.
time. Maybe when I do the
I'm down.
men versus women podcast.
I would. I'm always down for a little competition.
I definitely want to have like
Better
one
if
of
it's
those.
gender.
Yes. So yeah, plug your socials.
Oh, my Instagram is valerie.ek. What else is there?
The podcast.
Oh yes, my podcast is Low-Key Relatable. I'm one half of the podcast, and we talk shit on there. But Halima definitely takes the key.
I listened to the one that you guys were on, the Menisms one. I
Mhm.
watched that one on YouTube. I think
Yeah.
it was very interesting. I think it was one about friends and trying
If
to
friends
pretending
can-
to be
it's
somebody's
friend.
friend. I hate that thing so
Yeah,
much.
they said that I was naive to think that my friends don't want to fuck me.
Oh yes, I remember. I think I posted that part.
Yeah.
To be honest, I used to be like you, but from 2019 to now, I believe that at least 80% of
Okay,
them, yeah, and even the ones that don't, I can contemplate them if I really want to. Nonsense. Anyway,
that's so tragic.
It's very sad. It's very sad, but what do we do, man? Follow me on the podcast, Space or Swallow Pod. Follow me on Instagram, Hausa Chocolate. Find us on Twitter, SOS Pod Official, on TikTok, Space or Swallow Pod. See you guys same time next week. Bye.